My fellow citizens of all nations, right now I'm going to talk about the 6 pillars of self-esteem. First, let's understand that self-esteem essentially is the health of a mind. Self-esteem is, and what is health of a mind? Health of a mind is belief in our own ability to overcome everyday challenge of life, belief in our own ability to think, belief in our ability to, whatever that challenge may be, we are able to overcome it. We are able to do much more than just sit down there and do nothing. We have this capability to overcome these challenges. It's an inner characteristic. It really comes down to this, which I will say, the health of a mind. Now let's get going. Well, and what is the fate worse than death for an idea to face it? The type of the thing would be if idea becomes fashionable, if idea becomes trivialized, when it's in everybody's mouth, but nobody truly understands what they mean by that. When everybody talks about it, but nobody really understands it. Nobody really knows what they're talking about. But it just becomes a common thing, basically, something that may be true, taken out of context and mentioned so many times, it becomes it just loses its value because it's just like red pill to turn into a blue pill somehow magically. Now, choices do exist. What we have to understand that usually our self-esteem, it is true that in our first 6 or 7 years of life, this is where our self-esteem develops. But that's not set in stone. Our self-esteem falls and rises. It's constantly shifts. It may fall, and rise, and rise, and rise, and rise. Or it may fall, rise, fall, rise, rise, fall, rise, fall, rise. Whatever. This thing happens. And it's up to your decisions. It's up to how you behave that will decide outcome. It's totally up to you. That's the thing of the self-esteem. So it's to take responsibility for your own life. Take responsibility for your own actions. You have to know that whatever issues, whatever challenges you are facing, no one is coming. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to pull you out of that circumstances. No one is coming. No one. And no one will come if you ever keep to it. And what you have to realize even more better is nothing is going to change if you are not going to do something about it. Everything will stay the same. It won't change. It won't improve. Nothing will get better. You will just end up even more miserable. So make your own choice. And one of the examples of the thing, for example, when of a person that has low self-esteem, the type of person's behavior would be this type of example. Let's say two people are married, and suddenly one of them wants to, let's say a man wants to just divorce for whatever reason. But the man don't has a self-esteem, higher self-esteem, and don't wants to own that responsibility, basically, to take responsibility for that, his own actions, his own desires, and don't want to put it in action. So what that man does, instead of standing up to, talking to his wife and be like, hey, this is what's going on, whatever it is, and doing this thing, behaves in a way to sabotage the relationship and make the other party, in this case, his wife, to say that, hey, I want to divorce, so he can put the blame to his wife. Basically, it wasn't me who destroyed the family. It was who wanted a divorce. It was her. But the truth is, it was you, on the very first place, as a male. In this case, the male was the one that wanted to end this relationship. But the male, because of low self-esteem, this is an example, very good example of low self-esteem, and this can have various, different circumstances. This thing works, like maybe they are just lovers, etc. So you sabotage that relationship. The male sabotage that relationship. So now, then he can put the responsibility to her and be like, she was the one that wanted it, but trust is that you were the one that wanted to end this relationship, but you could not just own and take the responsibility of it. So you use the other method. Then what the other method was, you started to behave the way that would force the other party to be like, hey, okay, let's divorce. Now, let's keep going. We feel most comfortable with people whose self-esteem tends to be closer with our own. And this is very important thing to have in our mind, and as well, the another thing would be to have in our mind is that every person that wants to have high self-esteem wants to have wants to be successful. It's the same with self-esteem. Like many people tend to hate you because of your high self-esteem, because of your success. Many people will start to point their fingers at simply will hate you not because you've actually done something bad, but because you are just successful. They will have this hatred towards you because, as we read here, like people with closer self-esteem tend to find each other's company more comfortable. And in other case, basically, when there is a high self-esteem person and low self-esteem people, let's say this example, these people sabotage that person because they don't feel comfortable with that people. Because that person's existence, your existence, in that case, as a person of high self-esteem, becomes example of what you could have done, but you did not. So you have you don't have an excuse you can turn back to be like, no, because you have a living example of someone that has a high self-esteem. And this thing completely shifts and becomes completely different to if it's people that knew each other since very young age, because now it's even more cold hard truth in your face for those low self-esteem people. And usually how high self-esteem people usually are catcalled or treated. It's very interesting thing to think about. Just like in you are not serious enough, or you think you are better, like to shame this type of people and use this silly tactics, or you cannot seriously do that. You cannot seriously be that decision. Or a society would be toward this type of people. You seriously cannot do that. Why? Because we all have this low self-esteem and we don't dare to behave that way. We don't dare to behave authentically. Why are you authentic, essentially? Why is that? How dare you to be authentic? Now, most disastrous relationships are between people who think poorly of themselves. This is just the thing to have in our mind constantly. And observe. You can observe this thing easily. It's very easy to find these two type of people that are together. It's very easy. You can just go and bump into a random couple, and there's a very high level chance that this type of couple are this type of people. Most disastrous relationships are between people who think poorly of themselves. I had this person I met, not a relationship or something, but just, and that person just literally in conversation called herself a garbage. And now I look back and realize and even then I realized what is how that person looks at herself. What is her view of herself? And that was a very interesting and very interesting idea of self-concept. Like, what kind of self-concept that person had. Now, enlightenment means awakening. Just something to have in our mind. Now, what we want to understand is that we live more to avoid pain rather to feel joy. We live more to avoid pain rather to feel joy. And just let's have this in our mind, and let's stop it there. Of course, you should not seek meaningless pain, but not every pain. Like, there's meaningless pain, but okay. Let's dive into this thing because it's a very deep topic. That I want to seek pain. I want to seek this pain because why? Because this is how we truly learn and grow. I can look back and I can easily right now, easily remember 4 ridiculously painful experiences of my life. And by the way, real things that I thought were disastrous things. For example, I had 2 AK Kalashnikovs on my head when I was 7 or something years old because we simply got robbed. the robbers catch me when I was outside the house, and blah blah whatever. And this is what, for example, that fourth would be on the 4 examples of this, the painful experience, because after that I was shocked and etc. How, but if I were to truly look back in the things and positive things I gained from that experience, it's ridiculous. And same thing goes to other three. The amount of growth I had after those painful and hellish experiences is ridiculous, to the point that I would be willing to go there. If like there was like time machine and somebody offered me, hey, I can make you that experience not happen, I would like, stop right there. That experience is literally made me better in the long run. Now, in short term, it seemed disastrous, but in long run, like if you were to rise, observe this thing, and learn, you will grow. So we live more to avoid pain, but sometimes pain is necessary. Pain is where growth comes. You have to face the pain. You know, there is just like this saying, but it is true. Like, face the fear, like fear. Face everything and rise, or just run. Forget everything and run. And that will be your constant state. Like, forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. This is your choice. And again, and this is a choice only you can make. Nobody can make this choice for you. You have to make that change. Like, seek those constructive pain that will make you grow. You would rather face the truth. You would rather face the truth rather than simply ignore and avoid it. For example, maybe you have a nagging family. That is not truly your family. Like, I mean, in quote unquote blood by blood is, but in trust is something that eats you alive. That has no respect toward you. Don't respect you, don't value, etc. And you tolerate this thing, etc. and etc. That's where, like, or you are in the circumstance of the people that, let's say this room is full of people, but you are in type of people, this type of people in that room make you feel lonelier than ever. Now, you can face the pain, and face the pain in this case, what would be? It would be exactly to stand up, and if that's your house, so tell people to fuck off, essentially. And if it's there, also, like, walk away from that room and never ever come back to that room. Never ever. That won't be easy, but it will be worth it. It will be worth it. And we live more to avoid pain, other to feel joy. Feel joy. Seek those things. Like many, not some, but many. I'm not much for that thing. No, I don't deserve that thing for whatever reason. Then do the things that you will deserve those things. Like, just then find out how will be able to deserve those. Like, your assertion may be completely realistic. It's not. Like, this self-esteem is not about like delusional conversation with us. I'm so great and etc. and everything is fine and my self-esteem. No, it's about very realistic view of oneself. This is our true definition of self-esteem, not some delusional thoughts of how great and mighty I am. Then what you have to do to get there? If you are fat, what you going to do to lose that weight, to get in shape? Now, what would be your plan there? What's your ultimate goal? To get in shape or to just lose weight? That's also mindset differentiation. I would say your goal truly should be to get in shape, not to just lose, but get in the shape. So, and sometimes it may be completely baseless. Every human has insecurities and etc. Nobody's perfect. I'm a man, and just like you are, I'm a human, and just like you are a human. Whoever you are, I'm human, just like you are human. We have those insecurities, etc. Nobody's out of that thing. Like and sometimes your assumptions may be baseless, or sometimes it may be real. So deal with it. Like, find a way. Like, you will rather go, like, let's say this is the obstacle. I would rather go under it, or this way, that way, or above it. Like, think that way. Possibility of self-deception is endless. I don't think this needs comment. Like, so many people self-deceive themselves. So many people live in the state of self-denial or reality denial. Basically, you have to do the reality check. Okay, where is my reality check? Okay, they're there, etc. Do this reality check. Don't sometimes just because some thoughts or things are just too painful, we just ignore it. But what it truly means is that your decision is to not to make decision. That decision is never a correct decision. So be mindful about that thing. Be mindful about that thing. Don't just put it back. Be mindful about this, because not making a decision is also a decision. That's a military strategy in one-on-one. Not making a decision is a decision as well. That decision will have results, just like making. But in that case, by not making, you may be putting that thing on a chance. But at the same time, it's a very complex thing in that sense that maybe what you want to do and need to do is literally absolutely nothing, and that will give you the result you want to do, or maybe it will be you have to find it individually. Listen to body, listen to emotions, think for yourself. We feel don't pay attention to his thoughts because it's his own thoughts, essentially. Man ignores his own thoughts because it's his own thoughts. And maybe a couple of years later, you may hear that same thought by other people, and how embarrassing that thing is. Don't ignore your own thoughts just because it's yours. Now, I want to outline the 6 pillars of the self-esteem. I'm just going to read through it, and I'm going to review each one of them, characteristics of each one of them. Now, 6 pillars of self-esteem. The first one is the practice of living consciously. The second one, practice of self-acceptance, practice of self-responsibility, practice of self-assertiveness, practice of living purposefully, and practice of personal integrity. Let's start with first one. Living consciously means more than seeing and knowing. It means acting on what one sees and knows. It's the thing. It's living consciously. It's to act on what one knows, not just be like, oh yeah, no, act on it. This thing, live consciously means more than seeing and knowing. It means acting on what one sees and knows. Act on it, what one sees and knows. Active rather than passive. It's to be active rather than just passive. Now let's the second one, self-acceptance. If something we do, essentially self-acceptance is something we do. Self-acceptance is to be on my own side, to be for myself, essentially to be for yourself, to be on your own side. That's a self-acceptance. And yeah, it may be egoistic, but you are the only one. Nobody cares for you. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody, neither society, nothing. Nothing is going to save you. Nothing is going to save you. Nothing. Nobody truly cares for you but you. And if you are not on side of yourself, then who is going to be? Now don't be like, oh, God's going to be. There is no such thing as God. But be realist. Accepting does not necessarily means liking or enjoying. Again, maybe I'm a fat right now. That's an acceptance. But it's not necessarily like something cute to acknowledge. But I'm not. It's not like you're set in stone this, and I'm going to work on it. I'm going to do things about it. Right? It's not like set in stone stuff. So the accepting whatever self-acceptance doesn't necessarily needs to be something you enjoy or like. It's just reality. Again, it's just what it is. Now, third one, self-responsibility. You are responsible. I am responsible. And self-responsibility is about, let's say you face an obstacle, an issue. Anybody can complain. Anybody can be like, oh, it's your fault because you are my teammate and you didn't do it, blah, blah, blah. No. Things can happen. What can you do about it? What can you do about it? Essentially, to be solution-oriented. To be solution-oriented. How important it is for individual people, and even more important, all these things are useful in business life and literature as well. Obviously, these things are, in fact, not only useful but absolutely necessary. And I'm going to talk about it as well. Let's go through these things first. Avoiding responsibility by manipulating and forcing other side to make decision in relationships. That would be that example we spoke about. No one is coming to save you. You don't do something, it's not going to get better. If you don't do something, it don't get better. It don't get better. Nobody cares. Nobody's coming. Nobody's going to save you. Nobody's going to save you. So this is your self-responsibility. Be on your own side. Nobody's coming. Now, self-assertiveness. It means willingness to stand up for myself, to be who I am, openly to treat myself with respect in all human encounters and all human endeavors, to essentially live authentically, to stand for what one thinks. Too many people are like challenged and like, oh no, okay, it must be wrong because it was my opinion and obviously I would be wrong. No. To stand for what one thinks, or don't fake something. It destroys you innerly. It may seem you gain something by, but it truly crushes you from inside when you pretend, because you become an actor. You are not a real personality. Some people stand and move as if they have no right to the space they occupy. Some speak as if their intention is that you not be able to hear them, either because they mumble or speak faintly, or both. Some signal at most crude, obvious level that they do not feel to have a right to exist. How pathetic this thing is, how many people are in this state actually. Let me reread this thing. Some people stand and move as if they have no right to the space they occupy. This is a self-esteem thing. Whatever reason, their self-esteem suffers. Some speak as if their intention is that you not be able to hear them, either because they mumble or speak faintly or both. Again, they move, talk about this way. Maybe their synchronization, whatever forces them, that thing kills them. They have to fix that thing. You have to find those issues and overcome those issues. It necessarily doesn't need to be like today solution. It may be like long-term solution, but it will be a solution. And you have to put that plan and put action. Some signal at most crudely on a level that they do not feel to have a right to exist. Now, let's go to fifth one. Living purposefully. To live without purpose is to live merely of chance, essentially chance of encounter, chance of phone call, chance of the text message, chance of etc., chance of event. To live, you have to know where you are going. You have to know what you want, what you're going to do. Don't be like, don't give those things to chance. You make those conscious decisions, conscious decisions. Just like, for example, most people don't make friends. But what I mean by that, I don't mean that most people don't have friends. Even that is true as well. But what I mean is that most people have fake friends. What do you mean? Let's say you are this person here, and certain person falls in that orbit of this person for whatever reason. Now, what this person does here, as an example, would be that this person here starts to make friends with this person because by chance they fall in each other's orbits. They don't actually make friends. They don't decide to be friends because they have same values. No, they just happen to meet each other, so they are friends right now because they happen to just meet each other, not because they share their opinion and values. Because they're pathetic and neither of them wants to be just alone without friends. Now, importance of living purposefully, it means to have self-discipline, and this is 4 pillars. Taking responsibility for one's own goals. You have to take responsibility. Identify actions necessary to achieve one's goals. Like having goals without action, it's like lucid dreams. Like it's like daydreaming, essentially. Third one. Monitoring behavior to achieve that what is necessary, basically. To align your goals to your actions, basically. To have this synthesis. To make sure that your actions are in synergy with your goals. And the fourth one would be just to double check right now. Are your actions actually leading to where you want to go? And this is put in this way. Pay attention to outcomes of them. One's actions, whether they are leading where one wants to go. Basically, are there those actions right now, that synergical actions, taking you the place you want to go? You wanted to go. That you have to make and adjust even or readjust. And this is my belief and observation. This isn't just belief, it's what I observed. We males, because I can speak from my experience, we crave obstacles. We don't crave static life without challenges, etc. No, we crave those obstacles. We crave worthwhile goals. We love to overcome these challenges. We are very creative when we face these challenges. We love to think the ways to overcome this challenge and find solutions. We are solution oriented. We even friends, like when two friends want to go and like, we find to us it's so much fun to like have this challenge and find a way and actually solve it. It's so much fun. And the most important thing to be mindful is that we want to overcome those challenges, achieve those goals. It's a thing that to share with people we love and appreciate, not with people we hate innerly, not with people we don't like in real life, but we just pretend that we like them, or we just have no courage to be like, listen, we should not be together. We have nothing to, because if we know that by these challenges we have to share these things with people we don't like and etc., we lose motivation. There is no desire, our true desire then to overcome those obstacles, because we are essentially, why should I bother? Because we have to be understood and why and for what reason we are doing whatever we are doing. We need to know why. Why? What's your why? Why are you doing it? And that why, is it truly worth it? Is it that why truly makes you work for it? Why are you doing it? What's your motivation? Basic motivation. What's human basic motivation? Power, sex, selfish motivations. It may be something like, oh, I want to help who the person, maybe my close friend, etc. But that, I think that's the first one I mentioned. It's idealistic and not true. Just it's people use this for manipulative reasons mostly, or not manipulative, but because it sells good and sounds good. But I don't think that it's true in many cases. I think it's just a lie people make up, because it's good to hear some stuff. If I do nothing, nothing is going to change. And sixth one, personal integrity. Integrity means congruency, and congruency means synergy of your one's words and actions. This is synergy. Congruency of essentially one's own words and actions when they are combined, when they are aligned to each other. We are accountable for our own actions. Be careful what you say. Again, now let's sing. Be careful what you say to your own children. They may agree with you. Now, this is this example that, let's say your guest comes and they spill some coffee, etc. You won't be able to like, oh, you're so stupid. How can you do that? No, you'll be like, oh, no, whatever, no problem. But if your child does, no, your child, you will not usually let your child drink coffee because it's not for kids. But let's say your child drinks milk or something with some sort of baby made with chocolate. And if child will, oh, you're so stupid. Not every parent does, but sometimes, like, why would you do that? Your child should be far more important. I would say that he is important, but we hope, and I hope personally, that he should and is important, far more important than that person, your guest. Well, let's hope so. Now, why these things which I mentioned? Leaders need healthy ego, and leaders need to understand this self-esteem. Why? Because the leader with low self-esteem, let's say, wants to hire a person that is qualified, but that person, the leader, got scared because he has no self-esteem, or whatever, she has no self-esteem, and she's like, I cannot hire this person. Even so, this person is super confident, etc. No, this person has such a high self-esteem, etc. This person will remind me and make me feel a little bit, and I don't want to. No, this is how the leader will act, and the leader creates how people low self-esteem blame each other usually. They don't take responsibility. They don't take ownership. People with low self-esteem don't do that. People with high self-esteem, these type of people are the ones that take those ownership and like, okay, what can I do for it? And I shall do it. I shall find the solution. And this is the thing. And the person that is the people leader with this low self-esteem, etc., or people that try to hire this type of people that have that low self-esteem will reject those type of people because that valuable people, because they don't want their self-esteem to get hurt. They don't want somebody with higher self-esteem. And this is and now the seventh one. Summon the hero within. You are your own hero. Nobody, no other person is. No other hero is. There's no such thing. You are your own hero. And everything is within. Everything exists. And think nothing outside of yourself. Whatever you want to do, you have it within. Search it within, not outside of yourself. It's you, like, it's within you. It's within you. Search it. Everything. Whether you want to become stronger, richer, quicker, smarter, whatever this thing may be, it's within you. Search it within yourself and take responsibility for your own self. It's your own self because it's your own self. And this is where it ends. Now, don't forget to hit the like button and comment down below. Share what you think, and if you are not subscribed already, click that subscribe button to stay tuned for more book reviews and journal videos. See you.